Here is how to play chess for beginners so you stop losing in 10 moves or less. Now, the first question we want to ask is, why do beginners even lose at chess? And I think the answer is that beginners think more in terms of moves than in terms of problems. But ultimately, chess is a decision-making game. So there will be problems for both sides to solve. There will also be opportunities for both sides to create problems for one another. So every move that you're making is deeper than just a mere move. It's also a problem that you're creating for your opponent, giving him the opportunity to make an error, make an inaccuracy that you can take advantage of. But of course, it's always good to go into a chess game bearing in mind that not just that your opponent is as smart as you, but is potentially smarter than you. So your wits have to be very sharp. But essentially, every move is not just a move, it's a decision. And this is the perfect segue to the 3 rules, thinking rules. These are not chess rules. And please, I'm not quoting anybody, this is just me. But it's a perfect segue to the 3 thinking rules in chess that I feel like can help you elevate your game as a beginner. The first one is, figure out if any of your pieces are hanging and if you need to do something about it. Decide if you need to do something about it. Because it's not every time that a piece is hanging that you need to do something about it. No, you can be tricky. And this is also something that you have to develop, but over time. But as a foundation, just have it at the back of your mind that figure out if a pawn, a piece, whatever is hanging. And if you need to do something about it, decide if you need to do something about it. Which is a perfect segue to the second rule. The thing that you're going to do about it could either be creating a problem or fixing a problem. Try as much as possible in your thinking, in your playing, to either create problems for your opponent or fix a problem that you have yourself. So it's like boxing, punch and duck. When you punch, you return and you make sure you're covering, all right. And then the final rule. This is something that I've made as a point in previous videos, and I will continue hammering this point because it's very important. When you're developing your pieces, don't move one piece more than once. Don't move one piece twice. And the reason is that in a chess game, you have all these moving parts, all these different components. You want to make sure that you're utilizing your forces effectively. You're not relying on a few pieces to do the job of what 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 more pieces could have done. You feel me? You're not overburdening your pieces because you want to make your point. No, you're developing harmoniously, bringing pieces into the game. You're not rushing to exchange pieces off the board. You're not rushing to attack with just your knight and your queen or whatever. You're making sure that you're bringing everybody, giving everybody a fair chance to shine. Make it a democracy as opposed to whatever. But I don't want to make this political. But yeah, these are good thinking rules that I feel like can help you elevate your game as a beginner. And I want us to walk through one real game example. I could mention the opening, I could mention the name of the opening, but this video is less about opening and more about how to think. You feel me? So, but you can look at the board, of course, and see the name of the opening and maybe look up on it if you want to. But anyway, I start off with e4 because my intention is to control the center. This is going to be an explainer video, so pardon me because I'm going to try and take it slow for new people to chess to understand what is happening. Even if you already know all this, please just humor me. Anyway, I strike in the center because I want to control the center. Imagine like a war general, you want to start a war. It is best to be at the top of the mountain. This center is the top of the mountain because at the top of the mountain, this is the center, of course. You feel me? This is the main center. Some grandmasters will say there's an extended center here, which is fine. And, it's also a good, but a lot more advanced way to think. But for now, this is the center. So if you're fighting a war and, imagine yourself as a war general, you want to stand at the top of the mountain because it gives you an eagle-eye perspective. You can see the enemy advancing from far off and make preparations. Basically, you know what to do. This is that mountain top. I stand there pointing a gun in the camp of my enemy. He responds with this move. And this is a system. Like I said, I'm not going to mention any opening, but it's a system. It's respected. I strike in the center. I control the entire center. So as you can see now, this entire mountain top is in my control. My opponent decides to challenge my control. as you can see, let's highlight this. This entire point is in my control. He decides to challenge it. Okay, what do? I don't capture. I develop a piece. I could have captured, and this is still a very respectable system, but that's not what we see here. I focus on development, okay? And my opponent captures, and of course I capture back, and that was hanging. Not really though, because there's, this development adds defense to that piece. Remember the first rule I told you, figure out if something is hanging and if you need to do something about it. Although we're going to see a much more deeper example of that as we proceed. Anyway, he captures and I capture back. He develops a piece. He needs to prepare castling at some point, because king safety 2 is important in chess. Is important, especially in the beginning phases. Anyway, I continue developing a piece, getting ready myself to castle. And I'm also, as you can see, controlling the center, having that central control on a lock. My opponent continues developing, and I complete my development. Now I'm one move away from castling. I've not yet completed my development, but at least I've completed it on the king side, on this side of the board. Anyway, he completes his own development on the king side of the board, adding some sort of tension. Let me not say pressure, because it's not real right now. If he takes it, I can capture back. But adding some sort of pressure to my knight. And I fall back. I don't want to exchange the knights. I fall back. I still want to have control. I still want that knight to be useful to me. He castles, and I castle too. The game continues. No rush to exchange anything. We're still just figuring out what part of the conversation we want to take this to. What direction we want to take this conversation to. Anyway, he strikes at that my lone pawn on the mountaintop. That my scout on the mountaintop telling me where the enemy is coming from. I support the scout. I say, no, scout, you deserve to be there. Even if you're going to stand there alone, which is an isolated pawn, right? Even if you're going to stand there alone, I want you to stand there at the mountaintop. He doesn't capture. I say, okay, no problem. He pushes down on b6, trying to create some sniper type setup so that he can snipe me from a long angle. I'm like, very well then. I hop into this place to encourage some piece exchange that will favor me and promote my scout from a mere scout to an attacker, to an aggressor in his territory. Because if he captures back here now, I'm promoting this scout to an aggressor. And this guy will have to move. He'll have to look for a new home. And what are his options? They're not going to be very strong. Anyway, he puts his sniper on this long range corner. I'm like, what? I support my scout in case something is done to him in the future. Yes, of course, this is also good support, but this is also development. I bring out this guy, say, okay, look, let's just be more in range as opposed to at the back doing nothing. Let's come to the war front. Let's come to let's come to where the battle is happening. He comes there to attack this brother. And I first of all exchange. Let's bring his queen out. What was my thought process here again? Let me pause and see if I can try to remember. Okay, anyway, I exchange. Draw out the queen. Oh, yes. I remember now. Thinking, I told you, chess is a thinking game, decision making. The truth is that I want to bring my queen inside here and utilize the power of my bishops to really hit his position. But right now, if I do that, this knight can just hop back here and dislodge my queen and at the same time defend this attacking point that I'm headed to. So it is best at this instant to do something about that potential defender. I take him, he takes here, and then I hop in there. Yes, granted he can go here, but he would have moved a piece twice and given me some sort of advantage. I can always fall back here. Maybe, yes, see, computer agrees with this move, it's the best move. I can always fall back here and I still have this sort of pressure and I can continue maneuvering my knight one way or another. I could do something. Anyway, I exchange it and hop in there. Now he plays this move, which is something that seems very logical, right? G6. But I have the time to hop in here. Now I'm controlling the dark squares. there's no way he's really defending with this bishop. He will have to make this move and force my queen out of this place. And that will take two moves that I can use to do something significant. Okay. He captures my bishop because at least to justify this knight's movement to this point, let him capture that bishop and help me out with dark squared, basically help himself out of dark squared issues. Right? Because, having this bishop is going to be very dominant. It's going to help in my dark squared dominance. Anyway, he takes. And this move is already a mistake because if you remember the first rule I told you about that can advance your game from beginner thinking to much more advanced thinking, I said, check if a piece is hanging, check if something is hanging, and decide if you need to do something about it. Now, yes, something is hanging. This rook is hanging, right? He's about to capture it. But do I need to do something about it? I don't think so. Why? Because I have this move. And believe it or not, this move is a brilliancy, and it's already mate in 4. I get to checkmate him in 4 moves. Why? Because, of course, he cannot pick up this guy. If he picks up this guy, this is a checkmate. You can already see it. But what if he picks up this guy? Then the power of my bishop is revealed, and it's checkmate. Do you see? I figured out that my piece was hanging, and then I asked myself, do I need to do something about it? No. Anyway, I don't know if I really aced it. I don't know if I've impacted something. I don't know. But I just know that chess is a thinking game, and if you can start thinking in terms of the problems you're creating for your opponent, and in terms of decisions that you're making, and not just in terms of moves, I think that you will play better chess, and you will see improvement in your chess. And I hope that that's what this video does for you. So yeah, thank you. I hope to make, if this gets a good reaction, I'll make more on this topic and explore more beginner mistakes and see how we can create some sort of thinking patterns that can elevate the game. And of course, I'm not a master or anything, but I'm just hoping to help somebody fall in love with the game some more, and and also me to fall in love deeply with the game, and that would be amazing for me and for everyone. I'm blabbing again. All right, you know the drill. Please subscribe to my channel, so help me grow. Your subscription, your like, your turn on the post notifications, comment. These things help me grow. Do them so the channel can grow. Subscribe. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.